what, Adam?
Go on.
This is our last news video of 2020 together. I know. You know what? I didn't think we'd get another in when the world caught fire back in March. So
No.
it's nice that we get to do, even via this distance where I can't socially.
I can smell you from here, Tom.
Yeah. Well, one day you'll be able to smell me much closer. Here's to the vaccine. Here is your wrestling news. Royal Rumble 2021 title match plans have been revealed. We have the reason that WWE sent Keith Lee and others back to the Performance Center. And a big shakeup is coming to Monday Night Raw. We'll talk about it in a bit. But first, 3, 2, 1. Not my words, the words of Countdown to Vuvuzelas, the album available now. And the words of... Last one, mate. Last one.
Come on, let's get this out of the way.
And the words of fans back in the day where there were fans at wrestling as the Royal Rumble ticked down. And some big plans for the Rumble in 21, isn't there, Adam?
There are, courtesy of Dave Meltzer. He has just written in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the Lashley versus Riddle US title that's being pushed this week isn't slated for TLC. Obviously, sometimes we see some last-minute additions. The plan is to do that match at the Rumble. But he does, of course, mention that everything changes every day, and he's certainly not wrong. How are you feeling about this one, Tom?
I don't mind Riddle becoming the US champ. I think that he's a strong mid-card worker there. I think Vince is very high on him at the moment, and it's a fresh matchup. I think that the one thing that we've been severely lacking on Raw is that freshness. Even post-draft, it got real old real quick with a lot of the rival, and I guess that is the curse of having a 3-hour show on a weekly basis. You're gonna get through stuff, and you're gonna burn through stuff really quick. But Riddle certainly seems to be heading to a match with Lashley. Do you think he'll do that and be in the Rumble?
I don't see him being in the Rumble as well. I expect him to be. I think he's a future Rumble winner, to be honest. I'm perplexed as to why Vince McMahon reportedly can't see what is in front of him. He doesn't get Riddle. And I think that is absolutely baffling because you're trying to attract a young audience. The same could be said about Ricochet, right? If I were to pick a few superstars that are going to appeal to kids, and obviously I know loads about what appeals to the young demographic. Hi, viewers. It would be Riddle and Ricochet. I think there are a few positives here because I think the Hurt Business are going to end up winning the Raw Tag Team titles on Sunday night. And I'd like to see Lashley hold that US title for a bit and then also have the Raw Tag Team titles in that faction. But additionally, I think it's a really cool matchup, and I think it will surpass expectations because of the two. They both have MMA backgrounds, and we could end up seeing like a nice worked shoot style wrestling match there. I think it might be a lot more intense than people might assume at this point. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I would expect Hurt Business to have the gold for a little bit, and then Riddle to pick up the win at the Rumble. But anything could happen. It might. By the time this video gets out, it's probably been added to TLC, hasn't it? We'll see.
Yeah. We've just been informed. Not only has it been added to TLC, but Riddle has been released. So
there you go.
Oh wait, hang on. No, Vince is hiding back. He's a big fan now.
Speaking of Riddle, we've got another report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Riddle close to re-signing with WWE. Meltzer states the company is working on locking down Riddle, whose contract is up in August. It said he's pretty much agreed to terms for a 3-year deal at $400K per year, plus a guaranteed $50K for every show in Saudi Arabia. Which actually, for a guy of his caliber, and obviously he's got a bit of mainstream appeal as well from the MMA stuff, I'm surprised he's not on more money than that. Some of the figures that have been floating around, I would have expected him, now he's on the main roster, to be on a little bit more. He continues, the story is that Vince doesn't understand his bro gimmick, but loves the vignettes he's doing as he finds them hilarious. I'm glad someone does, Vince. Well done, buddy. Unfortunately, that's our truth territory as far as lower card comedy positioning. So maybe that's where we'll see Riddle moving forward.
We might have a little shuffle round, get him in the 24/7 division. Let's bulk that out a little bit. Let's stick him in the island of misfit toys that is the 24/7 division. Now, I know we're not in the office together, socially distanced and all that, but the other day I was on one of my early morning walks and I saw you in the window, Adam, and you were looking wistfully out of the window, and I couldn't help but notice that there was a little tear just popping down your face like that, just coming all the way down, and she was staring off into. You weren't doing that. As you were staring off into the distance, I could tell something was troubling you, something was upsetting you, and I know what it is, and you won't say it, so I'll say it for you. You're missing Charlotte Flair on television.
Every fibre of my being, Tom. That is absolutely true.
Don't worry about it anymore, my little pog champ, because we have some news on the return of one Charlotte Flair, don't we?
That's PAWG, by the way. Meltzer says, there will also be a Baszler and Jax women's title defense against Asuka and ? It was to be Lana, and for months they seemed to build to Lana putting Jax through a table, and maybe even that happens, but did an injury angle, to take Lana out. Obviously, we've seen that. Asuka will pick a partner. Rose did do a run-in on Jax and Baszler to get involved. Others have noted that it's about time for Charlotte Flair to return, and everyone in WWE right now tight-lipped. They're keeping very, very quiet about her, which has increased the speculation that she is going to come back on Sunday. I don't want to say it's a dead cert because there are other people that could fill that role, but I think she's 99% sure that she's coming back. So expect to see her. But I think most people have probably assumed that by now as well.
I'd like to say she's a dead cert because, spoiler, she's in my predictions. So I quite like her to be there, to be honest. And there's actually some storyline legitimacy to her being involved in that match. I feel like it's got all the elements that WWE like in a story, in the sense that Nia Jax was the one that in the kayfabe world took out Charlotte back in today. Shayna Baszler and Charlotte, is there any beef between those two? If not, there should be. And of course, Asuka and Charlotte have that history at WrestleMania, among other places. Who doesn't love a tag team that just don't quite get along?
Well, that's the thing. We've seen it so many times, especially in recent years.
Right.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's just great TV, isn't it?
You know, we all remember The Odd Couple on television in the past, and Perfect Strangers. Sometimes the world looks weary. Nothing is rearranged. Everyone loves it when oddballs get together. They're like the Tom and Adam Pacitti of the women's division.
Who's Charlotte?
Oh, mate, you are, because you're taller.
There you go. So, yeah, I expect to see her come back. I just don't want to see that. If they pick up the tag straps, and then once again, we've seen it so many times, the women's tag straps being used as a prop to build to a singles feud, it's pathetic at this point, to be honest. I'm done with it.
Do you think Charlotte could lift a dog?
No.
You're better than Charlotte, then. Well done, mate. We got very sad when they said that Keith Lee was being sent to the Performance Center to learn how to perform. What's going on, Adam Pacitti?
Well, all the big boys have been sent back, or some of the big boys have been sent back, I should say. And Meltzer once again. The wrestlers who have been sent to classes twice a week with Adam Pearce and Drew Gulak, as far as Vince McMahon's feelings go, they needed to improve their ring work. And those names were Keith Lee, Otis, Dabba-Kato, Dio Madden, and Omos. Part of it is Vince wants more monsters in the ring, as historically, whenever WWE business is bad, which it certainly is right now, well, the ratings are certainly bad, Vince blames smaller guys on top. But right now, his thought process is that he doesn't have big guys who can work at that level. Piss off. Absolute nut. All right, fair enough. Omos, he's a literal giant. What do you expect him to do? I expect to see him doing backflips in 2 weeks. Keith Lee can go. I'm beating a dead horse here because we've said it 50,000 times by now, but to have confirmation of this is absolutely insane. And he continues, having Lee do absolutely nothing that got him over and instead focusing on everything that he does that doesn't stand out could have something to do with all this. Pow from Meltzer.
Oh, but that's the bit that drives me wild, is the fact that we know what Keith Lee is capable of, and he's just been shackled. He hasn't done any of it. We haven't seen any flips or anything from Keith Lee. We haven't seen any dives into massive amounts of people because we love them, don't we? But we haven't seen any of that. And it must just be frustrating to be told, okay, all that stuff that you do, all that cool stuff that got you noticed, don't do any of that. So then you go and you follow orders and they go, it's just not working and we can't figure out why. We don't understand why. It's so frustrating.
It is. This is a very angry end-of-year news video, isn't it? Have we got any positive news to talk about?
Oh, mate, we have.
Here's some. Speaking of out of touch, a big shakeup is coming to WWE Raw. This is from WrestlingNews.co, who have been told that Vince McMahon is once again looking for out-of-the-box Fox ideas for Raw after the TLC pay-per-view. Raw Underground, eat your heart out. They continue. It's no secret that much of what was being presented on Raw this past Monday was written for McMahon, but the blame for the declining ratings is being put on creative staff. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be?
Of course it is. Of course it is. Come on, Adam. We've got to fix Raw. What are we doing?
What we doing?
Raw Underground didn't work. Can we try Raw Overground and Raw Wombling Free next?
You've done it. You've done it. Why aren't we hired by WWE? Ross is about to be, no doubt. He's just waiting for that email.
I know what's going to fix everything. I know what's going to fix everything. We're going to go back to the past. We've got to pull out some old gimmicks that we haven't used in a while, and I feel like we're going to see one on Sunday.
We certainly are. Huge stipulation being added to Randy Orton versus The Fiend. It is now a Firefly Inferno match. What does that mean? WWE.com saying, Orton and Wyatt are no stranger to the destructive flames. Remember, he burnt his little shed down. As the Viper wants to sadistically burn down the Wyatt family compound. Last week, the Viper trapped Wyatt, blah, 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 blah. They've basically not given any indication of what this is going to be. It's going to be an Inferno match with some fireflies on the screens, isn't it? That's it.
Cinematic Inferno match.
A cinematic what? So you can't even get burned. The monitors get pretty hot, don't they? There you go. That's your lot. That's your lot. Basically, an Inferno match always comes down to, or mostly comes down to, who's wearing the most clothes. Yeah. And in this case, it's going to be Bray, because Orton, he's just got his little, not his tighty whities, he's got his little black trunks on. He's not going to. It's going to be Bray that's going to lose. Who did you have on the predictions, Tom?
I had Bray Wyatt.
Lose.
He
should
lose.
Oh, good shout. It's the
and
first
that was before
ever
the Inferno match
Firefly
tip came down, and I thought I'm being mad here by saying that Randy's going to beat The Fiend. I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like I'm going to be taking the Cultaholic Championship.
My fingers are crossed for you,
back
buddy.
home for
If
Christmas.
I can't have it, I want my best friend Tom Campbell to have it.
Oh, I don't know which I'm more touched
or
by.
Jack or Sam, because I quite like those too.
That's
actually.
Fine, yeah.
Yeah, we've got an NXT UK debut to finish off on. What a way to go out, eh? It's a former AEW star. Who is it, Thomas?
It's Ben flipping Carter, isn't it?
He is flipping. He is bloody flipping.
Yeah, he'll dive into a bunch of people. Wait till JR sees it. So Ben Carter he shone on AEW Dark a few months back, or as it's now better known, the NXT audition room. And it was from there that WWE went, actually, we really like him. We'll give you something. And it was well known that Ben Carter did these great gigs on Dark, but didn't get any sort of financial benefit from it because it was all tied up in traveling and all that stuff. So what WWE did, the wise little so-and-sos, and this speaks really strongly for their system, they've gone, hey, how about, since you're from the Channel Islands, how about you come and do NXT UK? It's just on the ferry. You can do a couple of weeks every month, and you get to keep your pay packet. How's that? And you get to be a WWE superstar. And Ben is over the moon with that. And the thing is, there's a few people in the stateside that have been saying he's British. He's from Jersey, and that's a bit of a sort of geographical grey area, isn't it?
Yeah, so a nice bit of nationalism to finish off this news video from Tom Campbell there.
It's true. It's true because people say he's not. It's because it's a bit French and it's a bit ours. It's a bit like the Andy Murray thing, isn't it? Like if he's succeeding, he's one of us. If he's not, that's right. He's Francis.
And we finish with Tom's catchphrase: "Brexit means Brexit," and we are done.
Thing is, mate, we can control our own borders.
Right, that's your lot, Tom. It's been a pleasure. If I don't speak to you before, I'm sure I will. Have a very, very Merry Christmas, mate.
Thank you, mate, and same to you. You'll be on Twitch, won't you?
I'll be on Twitch Christmas Day and a load of other ones. I'll post them to Twitter at some point when I've figured it out. But yeah, thank you very much. This has been an absolute. It's been. I want to say this year's been a joy. It's been anything but. But the fans, the viewers have been amazing this year. So
we've got through it because of the real genuine kindness of people that watch what we do. And if you do one thing this Christmas, just pay that a bit forward. Give love where you need to. The world's heavy enough without just being miserable all the time. How about you give a little bit of love without even being asked for it? Give a little bit of my love to you. We won't get copyright struck, will we, for that?
Oh, we cut all this bollocks.
Nah.
See you later.
Love you, bye.